What's up, fight fans? As always, thank you for coming through. All right, so I've just watched The Gloves Are Off, Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. First things first, if you're expecting a Froch versus Groves or a Dylan White versus Chisora or even a Dylan White versus AJ, then it is not that. It is about animosity and all that kind of stuff. I'm I'm always mixed if a fight should be sold purely on animosity. But look, if animosity is genuinely real, then fantastic. Cotto Margarita, for example, genuinely real. When it's almost fabricated and fake, I can't stand it. And so I didn't expect any animosity between these two. Both of them are quite humble. Both of them speak very well. Some might say both of them are quite boring. And some might say that when they watch this. I'm not sure. But I was more intrigued as to how Joseph Parker would handle the situation. Joseph Parker, or this fight really has been sold to us mainly based on what Joseph Parker and his team have done, mainly David Higgins, right? So I wanted to see how Joseph Parker would handle the situation when AJ just confronted him about those things, about making the video about AJ being knocked down, about saying AJ's got a glass chin. And straight off the bat, Joseph Parker handled it very well, like fantastically well. So calm, so cool, so relaxed. And when he said he was going to knock out AJ, he said it in a way which you just believed him. Honestly, I just believed everything. It wasn't like someone brash talking and someone just talking for the sake of trying to sell you a pay per view. You just genuinely believed what this guy was saying. Um, Now, Johnny Nelson tried to maybe stoke the fire a few times, asking about the video, and he said, "Look, it's my team. We do things as a team. Maybe I don't agree with what they do, but we stick together as a team, good or bad." And I like that. I really did. A couple of things that were interesting. Right at the end of The Gloves Are Off, um, Johnny Nelson asked Joseph Parker about the possibility of Tyson Fury walking to the ring. Joseph Parker said, "Look, me and Tyson Fury are good friends. There is a possibility of that." AJ said, "Look, if Tyson Fury comes into the ring, I'll knock him out of the ring. He's a clown." But then he went on and talked about Deontay Wilder. And he said Deontay Wilder should be sitting here, but I can't remember what he said. He said something on the lines of, he just talks a lot. He should be sitting here. Almost as though there has been conversations for Deontay Wilder to fight Anthony Joshua before Joseph Parker even got there, but they couldn't agree on money or something. I don't know. But he said it along the lines of Deontay Wilder should be sitting there, not you, but Joseph Parker's the one that stepped up, which was interesting. But I tell you now, if you watch it and you don't believe that Joseph Parker's got a good chance in this fight, and look, fights aren't always built on hype, are they? And what someone says, but there's something about Joseph Parker which you believe. Another thing is that Joseph Parker's been boxing since he was 4. I didn't know that. His dad is called Dempsey after Jack Dempsey, so there's a heritage of boxing there. And he said he's been boxing since he was 4. His first amateur fight was when he was 12, and then he started traveling the world as an amateur. So this is a guy that's been boxing a lot longer than AJ. So we look at him as a slugger and a puncher, but in terms of boxing skills, you never know. He talked about AJ's speed. He said, "Look, you're not going to catch me. I'm too fast for you," and that he will knock AJ out. AJ asked him, "Will you knock me out?" He said, "I." He said something like, "Pick a round," and then he said, "I will definitely knock you out." This is a guy that is very, very confident. And again, there's not confident with just saying stuff just for the sake of TV. Like when Charles Martin said something along the lines of, "I'll walk over you like a god." He's not trying to sell you a story here. This guy is very, very genuine. And you know he's genuine because he's not a brash talker. He's not a smack talker. That's not what Joseph Parker does. And this is what I was waiting for, to see if we are going to see a smack talk, and we're not with Joseph Parker. And you can almost see Anthony Joshua trying to figure out the puzzle here. So it's going to be a good fight. They asked um, Joseph Parker, what does it feel like? Because maybe Team Anthony Joshua are overlooking you already. They're talking about Wilder, and he said, "Well, that's fine. They can overlook me. That's okay. But one thing is, I can't lose. I've got far too many people dependent on me to win." And let's be honest, he has the whole country of New Zealand tuned in for this one. They asked Anthony Joshua about Joseph Parker's strengths, and rather than talk about his punch power or his speed, he started talking about the fact that Joseph Parker's been boxing since he was 4, and also about the Samoan heritage. I think Anthony Joshua, like myself, you kind of look at that Samoan heritage and you know that, these are warriors, right? He's come from that kind of warrior lineage. So I expect Joseph Parker to put up a really good performance, and I've said this already. And I think I'm even more now focused and sure about it because of this gloves are off. I see a guy that is so determined, and he can fight. Let's be honest, he can fight as well. It's not just a case of his determination. They're both unbeaten. They're both young. They're both hungry. It's going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be an interesting fight. Remember, Anthony Joshua's last 2 opponents, yes, very experienced, but also very old. I'm not sure how old Carlos Takam is, but I'm thinking close to 40. Vladimir Klitschko, 41. It's an interesting fight. It really is. But guys, I don't know when it's on Sky, but make sure you tune in to watch it. It was great viewing.